Talk with Dr. V and Mr. P. Welcome back for another exciting episode. How are you doing, Mr. P?
I'm doing great. How are you, Dr. V?
I am swell.
Well, swell as usual. Yeah, that's what you're
As usual, nothing's going to change. I'm going to still be my little swell, perky self. How about that?
Okay, that was it. That was a little bit more. That's a little bit more energy. I appreciate that extra energy.
Hey, I'm tired. I have been grading discussions, papers all morning long, and I am exhausted. So I am giving the people what I have, but trust me, I am not going to fall short on giving you the tea.
Okay, well, give us the tea then, Dr. V. Okay, so you've been grading paper. What else have you been doing this week? Just
working a family union coming up. I'm on the committee, so talking to family members who I've never met, who I'm looking forward to meeting. Come our family reunion in July. So I have just been extra busy.
Oh, okay. So this is on your mother's side or your father's side?
This is on my mother's side.
Okay.
This is the Perry, Glover, and Hill family reunion.
Okay. So you gonna meet little Pookie and Ray Ray then?
No, we ain't got no Pookies and we ain't got no Ray Rays.
Oh, y'all got a Pookie in there. Everybody got a Pookie.
We don't have no Pookie.
Y'all got a man.
You got a Pookie. You got a Pookie. I ain't got no Pookie.
You got a man. You got a Bubba.
Yeah, we do have someone named Man. Yes, we do.
You got Bubba.
No Bubba.
No Bubbas. Okay,
no
Junebug. What's the old school name?
Junebug. No Junebug either. No. Thank you.
I'm just saying, Dr. V, these are classic nicknames.
I know we don't have none of those, okay?
Yeah, I don't think black folks use nicknames a whole lot no more, do they? I mean,
no, we really don't have a whole lot of nicknames now. Back in the day, they had a lot of nicknames, Baby. What was it? Oh my God. It was some more nicknames. Like I call my niece Ladybug. I mean, that's her nickname.
We had Miss Piggy. I mean, I'm just gonna go out my family. Shout out to my cousins. I got Fat Ball, Tech. Shout out to my cousin Tech. I just heard he had a stroke, so speedy recovery on that one. Mayonnaise, Popcorn. Yeah, all my cousins. So one. We all had names. Fat, Bro Man, Flip. It's just
okay.
I don't know. Pumpkin. I had, cousin Pumpkin.
I have a cousin Pumpkin. I do have a cousin named Pumpkin.
Okay, Aunt Pumpkin, Tinka, Beanie. My name was Papa. Shout out to all that.
You were Papa. All right then, Papa.
So what's funny though?
What?
A lot of times you never really knew that, their real names. Like some of your cousins, like the distant cousins, you just knew that was cousin. That was your cousin, or you didn't know a lot of the government names unless they were in your generation. You just that was
right.
That was cousin, that was family. And
right,
when you saw them, you called them by their nickname. You didn't use their their real name. And of course, everybody had juniors. I know you got a cousin junior or something like that.
I think I do.
Okay.
I think.
You think? Oh, okay. Well, them mama's baby, papa's maybe. That's how it be back in the day.
Whatever.
I'm just saying. Got to be. Had a very eventful week. The grandbabies are here. I have 2 more grandbabies. Shout out to the grandbabies. Shout out to Elon and Eden.
Elon and Eden, beautiful names for beautiful children.
Thank you. God, we appreciate that. So they came last Friday. So they seem to be doing well. They were twins, and they came a little early, but they seem to be doing well. We kept them yesterday and hung out with them. This is the easy stage with babies. All they do right now is just eat and sleep.
Eat and sleep. That's it.
Yeah, that's the fun part. When they start moving.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that was cute that Each of you had one baby apiece.
Mhm.
Wonderful. That's perfect. You when one cries, one go get one, the other go get the other one, and y'all got it made.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. This is the like I said, this is the easy part. I would much rather have the little small babies than when they start getting like 2 and 3 and getting those attitudes and talking and stuff like that. You can keep
Now,
those.
see, that's not
You can keep
right.
those.
That's the
Yeah, you can
perfect
keep those.
age. You want them at 2 and 3 so you can start molding their little minds.
Them ain't my children. That's for their parents to mold their mind.
You are
I'm just
still a role model. You're still a
yeah. I
role model,
think
regardless if that's up to the parents. They're still gonna look to Papa and Mama.
okay. Well, I'll role model and then roll them back to their parents. So I'm just saying, shout out to the
Oh, I'm
parents.
done with you. I'm done with
To
you, Mr.
the
P.
GGs and the pop pops in the world. Shout out to y'all because I'm just saying, WD, the beauty in grandkids is that you take them, you play with them, you shake them up, and then you give them back. That's the
Take
beauty of it.
them, play with them, and shake them up.
Yeah,
That's
you shake them
funny.
up. You feed them plenty of candy. You let them do whatever they want to do for a little bit, and then you send them back to their parents and let their parents deal with the repercussions. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
a nice little get back for all the headache and heartburn that their parents gave you. So, you know, being a grandparent has its benefits. They still get
Okay.
on your nerves, though, just like the rest
Okay.
of it. So,
All
but
right.
it's been an interesting week. We really don't have a lot of topics to talk about just simply because I wanted to, and this is just me to our listeners. This is me. I just wanted to have an opportunity to spend as much time we can dissecting what's happened this week. So today is what April 3rd.
April 3rd.
A week. Yeah, it was a week ago, right? Sunday. It was
Last
Sunday.
Sunday, because this weekend, this Sunday is the Grammys.
It's the
Hmm.
Grammys. So a week ago today, if you've been under a rock, you haven't heard, but of course everyone, or I would say majority of people, have heard or are aware of what happened at the Oscars
Yes.
with Chris Rock
Yes.
and Will Smith.
Yes.
So you were watching it live and direct, and I wasn't watching it live, so I'm gonna admit I wasn't watching it live. But when I started getting all these social media notifications, I knew something was going down. So, Dr. V, just you were watching it live. Walk me through what happened, like when you were watching it, and then what your
Okay.
original initial reaction was.
Well, as Chris Rock was introduced as the presenter for the next award, he comes out and of course you see he starts his monologue. You know how all is, especially as a comedian, he's gonna poke fun.
Mhm.
So he initially, came out and made a comment to Will and to Jada and he even said, Jada, I love you. And I can't wait for G.I. Jane 2 to come out.
Okay.
And so she didn't think that was funny. And Will, at that time, he at first he started laughing. But then as he looked and saw how Jada rolled her eyes and even the camera panned over to her and she did roll her eyes, when he made the comment. And he then proceeded to walk up the stairs on the stage. So in my mind, it's like he just going up there just to, give him dap or something, not to give him a slap, not to hit him.
Mhm.
And I'm pretty sure that's why Chris did not move from where he was. He didn't get into a stance of defense because he didn't expect that to happen. And so when it did happen, it caught Chris off guard. How can you respond when something takes you off guard? But I'm happy he responded the way he responded. And then Will walks off the stage and goes back to his seat. So that's pretty much what happened. And of course, Will was cussing and saying, keep my wife's names out of your mouth. And Chris Rock was like, I will, I will.
So, what was your reaction when that happened? I mean, what was
I
your
felt
the first thought?
my first reaction was Will was dead wrong.
Well,
That's
did you
not how.
believe that it was real, or you thought it was fake? Because a lot of people thought it was
No,
fake.
no, you knew it was real once he sat down and he started cussing. You knew it was real. That wasn't fake. So you knew. And I felt as though it could have been handled better. Yes, was the joke off? Yes, the joke was off. However, this is what comedians do. If this was such an issue, and I like how Ricky Smiley, shout out to Ricky Smiley, I like how Ricky said that what he should have done was waited to see which way Chris was going to exit off the stage. Immediately get up, meet Chris behind the scenes, and have a man to man discussion behind closed doors to give him a chance to correct what he said. And I felt that conversation, it needs to be communication, because how I didn't know that she had alopecia. I don't know if Chris Rock knew she had alopecia. And so, we definitely don't want to be out here making fun of people issues or health issues or infirmities and diseases. We don't want to do that. That's not, I don't think that's nobody's desire to do that. But to think that you took the spotlight off of, I think, what's his name, Questlove, who won the award.
Yeah, Will Packer. So let's back up a little bit.
Mhm.
So how were you? How was the Oscars before? Before, like the
Everything
musical
was running
performances.
smoothly. It was good. It was a spirit of joyment. We would laugh. I liked the presenters, the host, Wonder Sights, Regina Hall, and Amy Schumer. I mean, they opened up the Oscars that I felt that was good, that was commendable of all praise. And to have this happen, you took the spotlight not only off of the evening that was started out so well. I mean, I was just so happy. I was like, oh my God, a black man is over the Oscars. And he put this together so far. I see everything just going so good. And then this happened. And it was a damper in the atmosphere. It was a damper in everyone's spirit.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So,
So,
you
like,
know,
right. So, because like I said, I didn't watch it. So, the whole time, and this was like, it was on for what, over an hour or so before all this happened. So, this was like,
yes, yes.
so you got an hour and a half of people coming in, presenting, coming in and out,
Mhm,
everything running smooth,
mhm,
musical
mhm.
performances, and all that's going good.
All of that is going well. Beyonce opened up with the performance, from the movie. And I just felt he just put a damper, and I guess I don't want to talk too much on it. So I'll wait till we do discuss that part about standing up for the black woman and all of that.
Mhm.
But my thing is right now, I just wanted I wanted him to respond differently, because you're representing a lot of people.
Right.
Most of all, you messed up Will Packer night. You messed
Right.
up, and you really messed up your own Oscar, because you go up there presenting and people looking at you like you crazy.
Right. So,
Even though they stood up clapping for you, trust me, people were talking.
right. Yeah.
People are good to smile in your face and talk about you behind your back.
Right. So, everything's going great according to plan. Oscars, great performances by the musical guests, everybody coming in. The host of Funny. It seems like just a very successful night, for Will Packer and his production company, and everybody's hitting their marks, right? And
Right?
hitting their keys. So, and then this happens.
Right. Then this
Right.
happens. And, and I could only imagine how Will Packer was feeling
Mhm.
behind the scenes.
Yeah. And so,
because everybody, they thought that it was a joke at first until Will
mhm,
sat down and I mean immediately started cussing.
yeah, because like I said, I didn't watch it, so I don't know where I just started getting social media notifications. They were going, notifications, notification. I was like, huh? Chris Rock, Will Smith slapped Chris Rock, and then I'm like, what? Then the video clip starts showing up. First video clip's going on. Everybody's like, it's staged, it's staged. Then of course it's like, momentum just building, and then next thing you know, there was I guess a Japanese feed that had all of the audio because from what I understand, you guys didn't hear him cursing, right? So the audio went out when Will was cursing out Chris.
Well, no, the audio went out. However, you could read his lips
Okay,
and you
you can
knew
read
what
the
he was saying.
Okay, okay. So they muted the audio, and then like I said, I heard the whole thing, and it was just like, what? You
Mhm,
processing it, and then it's just like your knee jerk reaction is like, okay.
mhm.
I mean, it's like,
Right.
what is all this about? And this is like the biggest night of your career. It's an extraordinary moment, and now all everybody's going to talk about is that. So
That's
that's
it.
that's the
That's
first
all they're
thing.
gonna talk about.
That's all they're going to talk about. And
That's
then,
it.
of course, everybody's divided. There's people who says he should have. That's what he should have did. Chris Rock disrespected his wife, and he did it in public. You're supposed to handle it in public. And so now the debate
But
kicks
that
off.
wasn't the place to handle that. That was not the place nor the time to handle that.
Yeah, I mean, and you and I from the hood. We from the hood, Dr. V. We seen some squabbles. We seen
Yeah,
some
we
scraps,
have. Mhm.
and we seen some things escalated, and then we seen some some people make smart decisions not to escalate something. So we know the
Right.
difference. Right? At least you would think
Mhm.
that at our age, you know the difference. Like you were saying, there's a time and a place for everything. And that's
Mhm.
it's hard for me to fathom for the people who are saying that that was the appropriate response,
Right.
even protecting, and then they chime on to protecting a black woman. You should play in the woods when you was a little kid, Dr. V. You just stayed in the house.
No, we didn't play in the woods. We ain't have
You
no
didn't play in the
woods.
woods. Well, we played in the woods, and you know what a hitchhiker is, Dr. V?
Yeah, we know what a hitchhiker is.
From playing in the woods.
Oh, now we don't play in no woods. We didn't have no woods, man.
Okay. Well, let me explain to you for those of you who didn't play in the woods, who didn't grow up even though you from the South, who didn't grow up playing in the woods. Well, when you're playing in the woods, there's little sticky things like plants. I don't know what part of the plant family they are that sticks to your clothes, your socks, and your shoes. So basically,
Those little spurs.
yeah, it's sort of like little spurs, but there's some even smaller ones, and we call them hitchhikers
Mhm.
because basically you could tell somebody was in the woods because when they come out, you got these little things stuck to your clothing or your shoes, and they were prickly, and so your parents could tell that you was playing in the woods without knowing. It's like how you know we play in the woods because you got the hitchhikers. So we call them hitchhikers. So I don't know what the correct scientific term, but we call it hitchhikers.
Okay.
So this whole
Okay.
notion that Will Smith was protecting the black woman by going up there and slapping Chris Rock, to me, is hitchhikers. They're trying to
Oh.
hitchhike on this big movement because it's popularity, just like the other movements. There are certain other things or groups that try to hitchhike onto the momentum of that moment or that movement and get some shine or get some notification or some advocacy for it as well. So
Mhm.
for me, Saying Will Smith was protecting a black woman is disingenuous. It is not true. Will Smith wasn't going up there to slap Chris Rock for all black women. He was going
No.
up there in response to his relationship, specifically what him and his wife is going through or whatever they're dealing with. So,
Hmm.
you can miss me with that, talking about he protecting black women. In
No,
2022, we
he's not.
protecting all black women because it's disingenuous, it's not real, and
Hmm.
you can't ride with it because you're not. Will Smith wasn't thinking about
Exactly.
black women. He wasn't
Mm-mm.
thinking about black women at all in that moment. It
No, he
wasn't in his
was.
mind. Chris Rock made fun of a black woman who has alopecia. And so I'm gonna go up here and I'm gonna set him straight for all the black women who've been talked about their hair. No, Will Smith doesn't carry that burden.
No, he
You're
doesn't.
projecting your burden on him. He's privileged that he doesn't have to deal with that because first of all, he's not a black woman, so he doesn't have to
Right.
carry the burden of it. He has the privilege of being a male in this society, and he has the privilege of being a famous male. So miss me with that. He protecting black women. He was not protecting black women, and he was definitely not protecting his wife. What he was protecting
Exactly.
was he was protecting his ego
Exactly.
that from another blow that he felt like he couldn't take, which was we'll talk about later, which was a culmination of all the stuff he's dealt with over the last few years and
Hmm.
probably for his entire lifetime. So I haven't read his book, but I've read excerpts and I've seen little quotes from it where he talked about not feeling powerless and not being able to protect his mom when his father was physical with her or abusive toward his mom. So he talks about that. You can look that up. So all this is a culmination of Will Smith and his relationship with his wife and his upbringing and his what traumas and his tragedies and what's all that's going on with him, and it just spilled out over
A
over the
course of
state.
time.
Yeah, of
Yes.
course,
So
yeah, on the Oscar stage.
yeah.
So stop
It,
trying to
and and
hitchhike.
but
Yeah.
my thing was, what had to be going through your mind that would say, okay, this is the perfect time to everything that's been boiling up for me to get up and to hit. And then two, he could be using that as an excuse that everything just boiled up to this point in time, like you just said, and you put this opportunity to display or to respond to what you have been wanting to do for a long period of time, which to just scream in, in disappointment
Well,
and to anger.
and
Did you think about the repercussions? Did you think about that? Hey, this is the second time a black man has produced the Oscars. Let me wait. This is not the proper time to do that. I mean, I understand, like you said, yeah, you were everything had just built up, and you felt this was the perfect time and moment to just go up and slap a comedian, which this is what they do.
no, he wasn't thinking about any of that. That's what I'm saying. He really wasn't. He for you know he basically reverted back to that small little in my mind. He reverted back to that small child who could not handle the momentum of the moment and act it out. You know what I mean? He basically reverted to that, and people, he's human, of course. Everybody's
Yeah,
human. But
everyone's
that's
human.
no
and
excuse. You give people
and
grace, no excuse.
right.
There's no justification about it.
No justifications, because there's consequences to everything. My thing
Sure.
is, I have forgiven him for what he did, even though it didn't happen to me, because everybody falls short. Everybody have done something that's been disappointing or displeasing to others. So
Mhm.
I accept his apology. I move on, but there's consequences to this.
Yeah, that's consequences. There's repercussions for this, not just for him, just for black people. When you think about it globally, you want us to dismiss or give him a pass and say, yeah, he did the right thing. No, you can't do that because there's too many layers to this. There's too many ripple effects to this. You know what I mean? Because black people as a whole, although this news cycle will be moved over, this will have implications for people behind the scenes for a long time. It
A
simply
long
will for a long time. Even if it's not him professionally, because we know that what one black person does, they apply that to all black people. We know that's the system that we're working
exactly,
in. So we know,
exactly.
you know, that they may not say it directly or they might say it to your face, but in the back of their minds, that's going to be, a possibility, especially when someone who's held up this image of, you know, being the laid back, cool guy for so long, that image he held and created for himself, it kind of stinks. It probably would be less, say if somebody did, say Puffy did it. It would be an expectation. It was like, oh, Puffy act a fool. Or say
Right.
some other black male, did it who didn't star in whatever the movie he starred in with the aliens. But he's been held up in this position. He built this great career around this image that has
Mhm.
allowed him to, open doors and do certain things. And that may be part of who he is, or maybe the burden of that has been heavy on him. I
Right.
don't know. But
Mhm.
him being Will Smith is probably more damaging than like I said, if Puffy or somebody else had did it, because
Mhm.
who you had the expectation, because it's like if the the most, I guess, well put together or crafted of you can crumble like that. Just imagine what somebody else who's not as refined or as well put together
Exactly.
can do.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So, and
Exactly.
that's not Will Smith's burden to carry, but I'm just saying that's just the nature of it. And that's the repercussions of it, that we're gonna have to be dealing with for a long time. So
Exactly. And and it's sad that everybody's picking a side.
yeah,
We shouldn't have to pick a side. Right is right and wrong is wrong.
yeah,
Because now comedians are you wanting comedians to do research before they tell jokes now?
no, you're not gonna do that.
You're
Yeah.
taking away from their professionalism. You're
Well,
taking away from what they do.
and let's talk about the target you put on your back. While you let's say you were protecting your wife or you was protecting the black woman, you also opened up your whole once again, you open up your whole family and your wife to scrutiny because they come in at
Oh
her.
yeah.
All the comedians, there's a couple
Mhm.
comedians who's already made comments. His brother Tony Rock already, made his little commentary about it. Corey Holcomb, which is, if you ever heard Corey Holcomb, he's probably like one of the foul mouth comedian out there, but he's already
Mhm.
made his commentary. So all the comedians, there are a community of people, and they're going to come for you. So they're gonna.
Oh yeah.
You can't punch everybody. You can't slap everybody.
No, you
You
can't.
can.
And you
So I
can't
mean,
run
so
away from it.
you can't. Right. You can't run away from it. So it's like what you really can't say that was. Of course, we know it wasn't thought out, but the repercussions, I don't think you can't
Mm-mm.
say that wasn't
And
important.
and then Pete, then he resigns from the academy.
Yeah.
You
Well.
see you to me you they already saying they trying to determine the disciplinary actions towards what you did. And
Mhm.
you know that that's one of the things that they could do, make you, that take you out of the academy.
Right.
But you're going to resign thinking, oh, they'll have no other choice. In my opinion, and I know other people are saying, well, if they take his Oscar away, that means you got to go take Harvey Weinstein
Mhm.
Oscar away. You got to do this, you got to do that. And it's sad that, that he can have an Oscar, any of them. So I'm not saying who's right and who's wrong in that. I'm just saying that he made sure that being for the Oscar board, that he already took that off the table, that I've already resigned. So what further actions can you do?
Yeah. And I don't think they should take his Oscar. He earned it. So I don't think they should take it. And he probably won't get it. back in the academy anytime soon. Maybe in the future, we'll see. Maybe he'll have an apology tour, or 20
Right.
years from now. We don't know. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's just for those people, and there's some people, I'm not mad at anybody about their opinion, but, for those of us who've been in relationships, I've been married for almost 25 years. And I asked my wife, and I just asked her, so would you expect me to act like, Will did or whatever? She's like, no. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm hard pressed to find someone who's really been in a long term committed relationship that says, "Yeah, I want you to go out there on the Oscar stage and act a damn fool." I mean, there's people who said that if my husband ain't acting like Will Smith, then I don't want him.
No,
Then
I don't want my husband to act like Will Smith. Now, there's one thing to say, do what I said, that like Ricky Smiley said, pull him to the side. Now,
Mhm,
I would want my husband to wait and go and have
mhm.
a man-to-man conversation, intellectual conversation, like adults, without hitting someone.
Yeah,
And let that be behind closed doors. I mean, if you want to defend her, do it just like Ricky Smiley said. Go behind closed doors and talk about that thing. But I wouldn't want my husband to sit up there and be catching a charge, because that was TV. Chris Rock is not charging, going to press charges. These people out here in these streets, they press charges.
and they hit back and they shoot back. So I
Exactly.
mean,
So
I mean that's what they're doing.
I'm thinking about my husband. I want my husband to come home to me. And I want, you know what I'm saying? So I don't want to be involved in all of that going back and forth. I think that's foolishness.
Yeah, I think this it's dangerous too for like if for a woman to now again these are words we're talking about what happened in that moment. We ain't going back to what happened in 2015 or the bad blood or
Right,
animosity, but in that moment, Chris Rock didn't call her. He didn't call her out her name. He made a bad joke about
right,
her hair condition. And
right.
again, it's narcissistic to think that everybody knows everything that's going on with your life, whether you're a celebrity or not. Like you said, no, everybody doesn't know that she has alopecia. Everybody
Right.
in the entire planet, or everybody who's watching, who's famous or whatever, knows what's going on in everybody's lives. So
Mm-hmm.
you can't say that knew that. But even if he did know it, it's still a bad, not bad joke, funny, whatever,
Bad
not
joke.
so funny. You can argue that. But again, it's words. It's not physical, and it's not, you can't hitchhike a movement and try to encompass that or put the weight of all that movement onto that one isolated incident. You can't do that.
Exactly.
It's
Now,
not.
another thing that he has created and done by him resigning, you can't vote for movies that are for that are good movies that are that could pertain African Americans or black, or whatever ethnicity that one may be. You can't have a voice in it. We get tired of they saying Oscar so white. And so we have a representation on the board so that we could make sure that there's diversity in the selection of those movies being nominated. You have taken a vote out.
Yeah, you're taking a
So
vote
see how
from.
it's like a ripple effect. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Uh, yeah. So that in itself is problematic. Um, again, the situation it's problematic on all fronts. Like as you mentioned before, no one's talking about Will Packer. Nobody's talking about
No, no.
Samuel getting his Oscar. Nobody's talking about Questlove getting his Oscar. No,
Mm-mm.
nobody's talking about how the opener. I didn't even know Beyonce had opened it. They're not talking about the openers. They're not talking about the normal things that they talk about.
Questlove,
Yeah.
nobody.
Nobody,
The
right?
three
So
women, the three women
yeah,
that hosted, none of
right.
that.
So that's why it's hard for me to understand for those in retrospect or hindsight is 2020, for you to still say that that was the right thing to do, knowing all the repercussions. So you telling me if you
Mm-hmm.
knew all this stuff was going to happen, you would still think that's the right thing to do? I mean,
No,
initially a knee-jerk reaction, I get it. But after all the repercussions of what has transpired for the entire week, you still think that that was the right move to make.
that's
And if
sad.
you do,
That's sad.
that's problematic. That's
It
problematic
is.
to me, you
And
know. So
like
hopefully,
Mr. P and I, we're not sitting here condoning what Chris Rock said. We're not condoning what Will Smith said. We're saying what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. That's what we're saying.
yeah, I'm saying y'all crazy. How about that? I was like, you have to be um evolved. I'm saying some of you people are stuck. You guys are so stuck in that moment, or you're so stuck in your home ideal or your ideology. I'm sorry, ideology about respect and what's handle business, and I'm gonna get the last word in, and you're feeding all that ego driven stuff that you're missing the whole point and the importance of the moment. That
Exactly.
you're so stuck in that. Respect is an arbitrary process of thought that's in the stratosphere. Can you hold respect in your hand? No, it's not tangible.
No, it's not
It's not
tangible.
tangible. It's not something physical that you're
No.
putting so much weight and so much burden on it, or you're giving so much value to it, and there's nothing that you can do with it. Can you
Right.
spend it? Can you eat it?
Nope. Nope.
Can you put it in your car and drive it?
Nope.
You can't do nothing with it. But you have it so ingrained and tied to your ego and your self-esteem and your worth that you
Hmm.
will, and this is a lot of people, a lot of black men, a lot of young black men, for that arbitrary or imaginary thing with respect, you will take somebody's life, you will put risk others, you will risk your life
Hmm.
just for this thing you call respect that you can't
Hmm.
hold, that holds no weight intangible.
Exactly.
And right, it's I get it. There's free society out in the world, and then we ain't talking about in the prison because that's a whole different thing. But that's still the same thing, arbitrary. It's the
Hmm.
same thing. But people are dying over that. Gun violence over it. So somebody disrespect
Yes.
social media.
Yes.
Somebody says something about you on social media. You gonna go find them, or you gonna pull up on them, and you gonna shoot them, or they gonna shoot you, or y'all
Yes. And
kill.
and yeah, because people, like we're saying, they are not fighting with words or with their fists anymore. They're going to get guns. And
Right.
so you rather risk your life over something that could be resolved. I do not recommend doing what Will Smith did. The best thing to do, get some counseling, and like P opened up and said, you put your information out on Front Street. It became front page news with the entanglement. You overshared. Let's put it like that. You overshared your information. And so when people come back and use the information, but Chris Rock didn't use the information because he didn't know about the alopecia. But
Right.
when you put your information and you're being open and scrutinized for what you're putting out there, that means you're telling the world we're okay with it now. We're fine with it. We have gotten over this. But don't put it out there and you haven't gotten over it. Don't put it out there if you
Mhm.
haven't dealt with it. Because right now you ain't dealt with it. So all of that came out on the stage at the Oscars.
Yep. I was this was it was funny, Dr. V, when I was cleaning up my office or rearranging some stuff in my office, and I actually came across the paper I wrote 20 years ago, believe it or not. And have you ever read The Invisible Man by Ellison?
Yes. Hmm.
Okay. And then in there's a one, it's a scene called The Battle Royal. And so I'm gonna read this to you. This was 20 years ago. When I read some of this stuff, I'm like, wow,
Okay.
um, my mindset. But this is just a excerpt from this paper I wrote like I said, literally 20 years ago. It was 2002, I believe, March
Okay.
of 2002. Um, and so if you haven't read The Invisible Man, I think every black male should read The Invisible Man. I don't care who you are. You'll learn something about yourself. You'll learn something about American society. You'll learn something about what it means to be a man in America, a black man particularly. So, but Invisible Men. So let me just read this and bear with me. I might be jumping around, but I want to get a couple points across um, about it. But though not a political novel, Invisible Man is based on a cultivated political understanding of the modern world. Although times have improved since the publishing of Ellison's book, it is still a good representation of the struggles faced by black males in America. Ellison uses symbolism in Battle Royal to represent the black male struggles to identify himself, stay true, stay true to each other, and break the stereotypes surrounding him. So when the story begins, the protagonist is in the process of finding himself. Like many of us today, he was unsure of where and what he stood for and how he could find out. I was looking for myself and asking everyone except myself questions which I and I alone could answer. It took me a long time and much painful boomeranging of my expectations to achieve a realization everyone else appears to have been born with. The protagonist represents the black males of today in their search for identity and meaning in American society. Throughout the story, he is humiliated physically and mentally, but he remains concerned about doing the right thing according to the expectation of the white townsman. He puts aside his own humanity in order to conform to what he thinks shows the most humility, not realizing that he is adding to the loss of his identity. This is still true today. However, the struggles have changed and the humiliation is more mental than physical. Invisible Man endures because it is representative, truthful, and real. The protagonist in the story was unlike the other boys in the battle royal. He was an outsider he's an outsider to the other boys. Um, this represents the black male struggle to accept each other because the protagonist felt he was superior to the other boys. He was isolated from the group in part because of his own doing. Instead of working together, the boys are pitted against each other in a struggle to acquire monetary gain. Even at the point where there were only two boys left in the ring, they still would not work together. The boys had been programmed to believe that the only way that they could succeed was through the blood, sweat, and tears of others. In Invisible Man, the narrator is ricocheted from one brutal In Invisible Man, the narrator is ricocheted from one brutal, dehumanizing episode to the next by a society bent on securing ideological and materialistic advantages. The same mentality still plagues the black males today who have yet to understand that there's more than enough prosperity to go around. Um, so I'll stop right there. But pretty much, if you read Battle Royal and Invisible Men, basically the white townsmen have took black boys from the community and they have a battle where they basically fight each other physically in order to win. I think it's like $2 or $3 coins, whatever money that they pull together. And so it's they basically antagonize the boys and pit them against each other over and over again to the point where all essentially the boys really have to do to get the money is work together and one succumb. But they are so hell bent on, beating each other, and they don't even see each other as human anymore, that they're basically fighting as hard as they can against somebody who looks just like them while the white people cheer them on. And so, for me, this represents when I was thinking about this, I was like, Will Smith has spent his whole career. He went from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, this whole rapper, and he's molded this career where he's become like, a superhero. He came, at some point his relationship was goals, but he was had the all-American dream, and he's built this persona about, what he believes everybody expects him to be. And it all crumbled just like that.
Oh yes. It crumbled. Just that quick.
Just that quick. So for me, this is probably the first time people are actually really seeing him because they, they all
Ooh,
they
that's
saw
a
was
good point. That's a good point, Mr. P, that this is the first time that
this is
people
the
are
first
actually
time people
seeing him. I
are
like that.
actually seeing him. You know what I mean? It took all this, and it unfortunately it pitted him against another black man.
It and oh my God, you I think you're saying something here because this is what they already think of us as it is. Oh, you ain't got to worry about bringing them down because the other black man going to come and bring them down for you. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? That's
Yeah,
what they already think, and we deliver it on the platter to them.
we delivered it, and unfortunately, Will succumbed to it. And I
Hmm.
got to applaud Chris Rock because he didn't. Chris Rock knew the moment. Chris Rock knew more of himself, and that may be him being older, different life experiences, or a trajectory. Chris Rock knew enough to of himself that he knew not to get succumb to this or to get sucked into this because a lot of people would have. I would say the majority of people of other maybe black men or black comedians, because many of them have said so themselves, that they would have, still been tussling with Will Smith to this whole week. How many of us
Yeah,
would have responded like Chris? You know what I mean? And I think the majority of us probably wouldn't have. How many of us would have been big enough
right.
to see the moment?
And I like what Tony Rock said. He was like, I have nothing to lose. And so
Mhm.
Chris Rock knew that if I would respond the way people would think that we should respond as black men, that I would lose everything. But I'm so happy in that moment that he did not respond because he could have. Trust me, an average person who gets hit after you overcome that shock, when Will turned his back, they would have charged after you.
Yeah. I mean, that's like I said, I have so much more respect. I already respected Chris Rock, but I have so much more respect, and he don't care whether I respect him or not. But I have much more respect for Chris Rock, and
Hmm.
I can't say I lost any respect for Will Smith because he was just another person to me. He's cool. I like some of his movies. I can't take anything from him or weigh him, but what I did was I can't say I lost any respect for him because I don't hold him in such high regard like that. But I did gain respect much more for Chris Rock, um,
Right,
simply because of the way he handled it, him choosing to move how he doing it. He's still processing it, and he's going to take that moment and I think do what he does best. He's going to create a narrative about it. He's going to create a commentary about it,
right,
um, that probably deals with all this stuff. So.
right,
Um,
right,
Yeah, so
right.
I can't wait. He's of course now all his shows are sold out. Everybody's trying to see what he's gonna say or how he's
Chris
gonna
Rock
respond.
shows, yeah. Hmm. So
Yeah,
you helped him with his career. So we thank you, Will. We thank you.
yeah. So um, so that's how that whole dynamics that played for me. So that r- reminded me of that in itself. And you could replace Will Smith with and Chris Rock with two different black men. And my mindset would be the same thing. So those just happen to be the two people uh, who were involved in this incident. So for me,
Mhm.
again, that ripple is bigger to me. It's more systematic to me. It's more about the black man in
Mhm.
America and how he has to be a certain way and how a lot of people are invisible. I mean that
Right.
there are a lot of invisible black men walking around here and
Hmm.
celebrity, very successful people walking
Right.
around who can't be true to themselves, who are living, with the facade because they've
Mhm.
built it up so much so that that they've become more of the brand than they are the human being. So
Exactly.
what I mean.
Exactly.
So Will Smith is a brand. That whole family is a brand now,
Hmm.
and at what cost? What's to say? You gain the whole world and you lose your soul.
Gain the world, but lose your soul, and
Lose
you
your
can't
soul.
do that.
So you know, that to me is an interesting contrast and conversation that I wanted to us to talk about before we move on to the relationship aspect of it, because I think
All right.
that's one part of it. That's the two individuals. That's the two black men up there who we
Mm-hmm.
seen whose trauma was at display. Because again, let's throw it out there. Chris Rock, while everybody's saying, you know, Jada has a condition with alopecia that the whole world's supposed to know about, Chris Rock has a condition as well. He has, I want to make sure I say it right, but he has a condition that he talked about. I think it's called nonverbal disorder. I just want to make sure I said the right thing, where he
Okay.
has a, he has a hard time with nonverbal clues. Um,
Mm.
uh, Nonverbal. So that's why a lot of people were saying why he just stood there. Um,
Oh, that's why.
yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah, it says nonverbal learning disorder is a learning disability that causes difficulty with motor, visual, spatial, and social skills. Um,
Mm.
it says children with NVLD are often well spoken and can write well, but struggle with subtle social cues and comprehension of abstract concepts. So Chris Rock talked about this a few years ago. Um, I think he talked about this. Was it 2018, 2020? It's been a couple years. So yeah, so it's like I can't remember how long ago, but so this was something he had talked about prior.
Okay.
Most people didn't know this. Most people don't know this. So you know, same way you're saying he's supposed to know that she has alopecia, or y'all supposed to know that he has this nonverbal learning disorder. So had
Okay.
he not had this disorder, he could have taken from the cue that if Will Smith is getting up and walking toward me, there's something physical going to happen, and he could have responded differently. You know, he may have responded differently, but he talks about it also that you know it makes it hard for him to have some personal relationships because he
Okay.
basically you can't read the room. You know what I mean? You can't read body language. We know that
Right.
communication is more than verbal. It's
Mm-hmm.
probably 90, 70 to 90% um, physical and then 10% verbal. So
Okay.
when people's body language changes or, you know, he can't read that. And so he may not be able to tell that, hey, I need to shut up or unless
Right. Right.
somebody verbally says, all right, Chris, you know, you taking it too far. And then, okay, he's like, oh, okay. Because even Jada just rolling her eyes or doing all that, it's not enough for him to just like read the room, you know, read the room. That's what
Right.
we all say,
So
read the
he
room.
so he so he understood when Will start cussing.
Right,
And then because he said, okay,
right.
I'll stop.
I
He
will.
acknowledged at that time.
Right. He acknowledged then. But before
Mm.
then, it's like, you know, he couldn't you know comprehend what was actually about to go down, you know. And
Right.
then also it's like Will wasn't grimacing at him. You see what I'm saying? The vitriol came. It's funny though when he got up there and walked, even when he looked back, looked around. Did you see anger? That wasn't he wasn't angry. That wasn't like
No,
anger,
he
angry
wasn't. It was
stare.
almost like a smirk grin on your
Yeah,
face of satisfaction.
right. So he didn't get vitriol or angry until he got back to his seat and started yelling. That's when you saw the anger. You could
Right.
see the anger in there. So it's like, you know, it's
Right. And
weird.
then when you got up there, instead of hitting him, you could have made the mean, evil comment that you made when you sat down to tell Chris, keep her name out of your mouth. And then you could have walked away without hitting him. And I think
Mhm.
that Chris Rock would have gotten it then. And it still would have came out better than doing what you did.
Right. So, you know, so that's a caveat too that a lot of people that haven't paid attention to or didn't notice. But
Okay.
you know, that's a part of it too. So we can't expect everybody to know everything that's going on. We get it, and that's why you give people grace, and that's why you know Chris Rock should have been given grace, you know, at that
Right.
moment,
Okay. Right.
or
Exactly.
like you said,
Exactly.
catch him on the side. So, um,
Mhm.
but this whole relationship. this whole
Okay.
entanglement.
So now we're gonna move to the entanglement
Yeah,
side, the
let's talk about
relationship
this
side.
relationship.
Okay.
Let's talk about this relationship because this is basically what it is. Because if you take Will and Jada's very public relationship out of this, and Will probably doesn't feel as strongly as he does that he needs to protect Jada because he wasn't protecting all black women. He's
No,
protecting
he wasn't. He sure
Jada.
wasn't
He really wasn't
protecting me.
protecting Jada because the damage that's coming now is going to be is way more than that joke. So he's really not protecting her. She's not protected, you know. So if you really think that provided an order or protection around her, that nobody's going to say nothing else about her, no, that didn't protect her at
Right.
all. That made her, you know, number one for everybody to go at.
Mm-hmm.
But I think last time we talked about, you know, we really preached and harped on at the end of the show, talking about protect your relationship, keep everybody out your relationship,
Mm-hmm.
because not knowing that this was going to happen. But for me, this is just proof that you know those outside pressures or those outside people outside in your relationship can basically lead to something like this because you know it's hard enough to deal with the pressures that you two as individuals bring to it. Now you got to deal with the pressures of everything. I mean, you basically,
Exactly.
you know what I mean? You basically got to listen or dodge questions or deal with someone making comments about your relationship, your relationship, how you handling your family. And to me,
Exactly.
a lot of that is self-inflicted, Dr. V.
But
I
but
mean,
remember I said that he had not dealt with that. So when you're putting in, about your relationship and she's having this discussion at the red table, I think something behind closed doors between him and her should have been discussed. She should have said, this is what we're going to talk about. I feel like I'm ready to talk about the entanglement with August Alsina. Talk about, how our marriage wasn't perfect, like we went rocky. So the conversation should have been, okay, tell me what's the limit? What's the scope of how much I can tell of our relationship? Um, what can you handle right now? Because once we put it out here, if it's for the world to say, to hear, and then everybody's gonna have an opinion, everybody's gonna have a thoughts. We're gonna be scrutinized. So in your relationship, had it been strong, you and Will and Jada should have sat down and discussed what should have been the limit, what can be discussed, what couldn't be discussed. But when you lay it all out on the table, I don't think Will was ready for it. I don't think that was a discussion about the relationship, about how we struggled, what we went through. You know what I'm saying? And then you saw the saw the meme. Everybody saw the meme of how Will would sit there, look like he had been crying, when people were bringing the topic up and in discussion about the entanglement. If you have a relationship and it's a good solid relationship, you should have discussed that with your husband first or your wife first and say, this is what we're going to discuss. Or guess what? We ain't going to tell nobody. We're going to carry this to the grave.
that's what I'd say, Doug V. I don't think you should tell. You don't owe the whole world nothing. You don't owe them
Exactly.
nothing. You don't owe them an explanation of nothing. The only person you are required to do that with is your spouse. You
Right.
shouldn't have said nothing about it. You shouldn't have. First of
Mm-hmm.
all, I think you open yourself up, and the celebrities, you know, they do this for fame. I guess I don't know if they're fame junkie. I haven't been famous. I haven't been a celebrity,
Uh-huh.
but it seems to be a cycle that they continue to do. Most celebrity relationships fail, particularly the ones where everybody's in their business. Everybody knows what's going on. And
Exactly.
that's tough for regular folk to do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's you don't want your mother-in-law, your sister-in-law, you don't want nobody in your business because as long as you're not doing it, if you're not doing anything physical or detrimental to your partner, through physical, verbal, other types of violence, we're not talking about that. I'm saying
Mm-hmm.
a healthy, stable relationship. The world has no need to know anything about what you guys agree about, or what you go through or
Nothing.
what you're going through. Nothing. You
Nothing.
shouldn't.
Nothing at
As
all. And
far as
if
as far as they
if
know,
we if there was an affair in our marriage, I'm not. If we both messed up, nobody's gonna know about that.
that's y'all business. Stop letting these folks get in y'all business. I don't understand
Exactly.
why you get, if nothing else, you should hold that relationship or hold that secret or that intimacy for yourself, because that's what you're doing. You're
Exactly.
giving out your intimacy. And here's the thing:
Yeah.
I think people have got it so twisted or so voyeur with it that they want to look at everybody's relationships or look how everybody else do things, that they've really gotten out of pocket and forgotten what it's supposed to be about.
Mm-hmm.
Marriage. When we talking about marriage, we ain't talking about y'all shacking up or y'all just been
No,
together
we're
for a
talking about
while. We talking about committed relationship. We
a
talking about
committed
committed marriage,
relationship between husband and wife.
husband and wife. We're talking about that, husband and wife. Y'all call yourself
Mm-hmm.
goals all you want to. We ain't talking about that. But here's the
Mm-hmm.
thing that a lot of people forgotten, and the importance of that intimacy and how private that should be,
Mm-hmm.
how secretive that should be. You're not
Exactly.
supposed to be how no one's supposed to know all those details except for you two.
You too.
So much
That's
so
it.
that even the law does not supersede that. Marriage
Mm-mm.
privilege is a real thing, but we
It
just freely
sure
give it
is.
away. You can't,
That's right.
by law, you cannot testify, or you're not required to testify against your
Is
spouse
your
by
husband
law.
or your wife?
Your
Yeah.
husband or your wife. They can't, if your husband told you I killed 20, 30 people, by law, you don't have to tell nobody.
Mm-mm.
You don't have to
Mm-mm.
reveal nothing, and you're protected. That's how close and tight that's supposed to be. That bond and that relationship is
Bonded.
supposed to be that
That's
tight.
right. That's
It's supposed
right.
to be that tight that nothing comes between you. That y'all, where one stops, the other begins. There ain't supposed to be no space for nobody to even get in there to see y'all. You see what I'm
Right.
saying? So, but people
Mm-hmm.
freely give it away, posting everything you and Bay do. Posting it Bay, we going here. Bay just bought me this. Bay just did this. Oh, we going there. You giving access to it. And
You
everybody.
telling it, like we said, it's too much information. And I
Yeah.
remember, of course, I grew up in church, and I
Mhm.
remember some that the pastor and the pastor wife would get up and have, marriage conferences, and they would tell the married women, hey, you cannot go and disclose, like what your husband likes in bed, what he doesn't like in bed. Husbands, you can't say what your wife position is, what she likes or dislikes. That's between you and her, because you're feeding too much information for yourself to be set up and put in situations that can cause a demise to your marriage and your relationship. And so by them putting that information out there, this is the outcome. This is what's happening now, and they can't handle it. They can't they really can't even explain it.
Yeah, because here's the thing: you basically have given him the bullets. They got the gun, but you've given them the bullets. Here you like
You gave the
here's a
ammunition.
full chamber,
That's
here's a
right.
full metal jacket of all the issues we got, and you
Right.
basically just handed them the bullets to shoot you. It's like
Exactly. That's
they
what
got
you
an empty
did.
gun.
That's just what you
That's
did.
what you
That's
that's
what
what
you
you
did.
did, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You
and
give them a
and you
full
can't backtrack
training.
this information. Once you put it out there, you can't go take this information back. That's why I said a conversation was not had. They're still having communication issues in their marriage, because when she decided to open up on this round table, they should have discussed how much information should we leak out. I understand that you want to be transparent. I understand you think you're helping someone, but you still have to sit down and think about, okay, if we say this, how can we make sure it's going to help somebody and not damage us in the end?
Yeah, yeah, because that's basically what it comes down to. Because
Mhm.
at what cost? The cost that you guys are paying, like I said, for the fame. Yeah, this whole red table blew up and it's all that, but
Mhm.
you know,
Mhm.
if Will
Right.
had hindsight, I wonder if he was, that red table has not been nothing. It's probably been good for Jada and her career, or making her, more susceptible to people, or giving her more access to opening more doors. But I don't know what it has done for him.
See, and that's the thing. That was her outlet. She needed to get that off of her to clear her conscience.
Mm-hmm.
And to maybe, say that, like I said, she thought that she was helping someone, to let people know that all marriages takes work. All marriages are not good and, lovey-dovey. Just because you may see us out and we're smiling behind closed doors, there's a lot of things that we go through in marriage on a day-to-day basis, and that we don't want you all to think that we don't have bumps and obstacles in our marriage. I understand where she was coming from and clearing her conscience all at one, but sometimes there has to be, like I said from the beginning, it has to be a limit to what you give.
Yeah, I mean, and time again, she's past that limit. She's
Right.
overstepped. Or
She
as
overstepped that.
Charlie
Really
Murphy
did.
said, she's a habitual line stepper. She crossed the line. Will crossed the line at the Oscars. She crossed the lines prior to.
Yeah,
I'm just
she
calling what it is.
started it.
She
Right.
crossed the line prior to, with giving
Mm-hmm.
people too much access or information to her relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And him,
Right.
he's culpable too, because he allowed it to happen. And I don't know if he's just trying to make her happy or whatever, but you know,
Mm-hmm.
I you cannot let people or let your business out like that. You just can't. People can speculate all they want to. You can let people pretend and do whatever they want to, but the most successful relationships are the ones that people don't know about. They don't know
Exactly.
nothing about it.
Exactly.
Denzel, his wife. You don't hear nothing about Paulette. Is it Paulette or Paula? You don't see nothing about
Pauletta.
Pauletta.
Mm-mm.
You hear they release stories. Do you know that she supported him through school, or she was doing this and she was doing that, and they'll make an inkling here and there.
Exactly.
They ain't doing no
Mm-hmm.
red table talks about their relationship. She
And
ain't
if you
finna
notice,
dig
even
out
remember,
the information.
remember that when the rumor was going about around with Chanel Latham and him, that got
Mhm.
squashed because Denzel didn't address it, Pauletta didn't address it, and guess what? Shanae didn't even address it, and it got squashed. That's how it's supposed to be. It could have very well escalated. How Pauletta made a comment, had Denzel made a comment, but they just let it go. When something that's out there, we don't have to respond to every single thing.
We don't, but again, the world don't owe you um, anything, and you don't owe the world anything when it comes to that relationship. So protecting that. So I don't know why people think that they have to share this with the world. That's not the good news that you're supposed to be sharing. The
Right.
good news you're supposed to be sharing is about doing great. We're having a great, wonderful time. We're highly blessed. We're doing that. That's if you want to share that at minimum. This it's really disheartening to see that a lot of people follow that formula, and again, it results don't end bad. The Kardashian curse or whatever, it doesn't end bad. There's no successful relationships in that. Even the long
Right.
term ones, eventually, when a lot of people um, have successful relationships, or that seem to work, or they stay some longevity, but then they go to the social media route. They start doing shows. Bobby and Whitney was doing good till they had that show. They were equally yoked with their crackheads. I'm just saying, until Bobby and Whitney did that show, Bobby and Whitney
Right.
was still together. But then when Bobby and Whitney did that show, and y'all start seeing some of their crazy, which
Yeah.
they fit, their crazy fit. But then y'all start talking about, oh no, Bobby doing this, or he dragging Whitney down, he doing that and that, and next thing you know, they're no longer together, and she's no longer here. Who's not to say that if Bobby had stayed with her, that he was the one that kept her from tipping over? We don't know that, but that he kept her. She didn't die under his watch.
Right. He sure did. And
You know what I mean? So she was still alive when they were together.
right.
Uh, so that's what I'm saying. That sometimes, like I said, the access or allowing the world into your relationship, it's detrimental. It's
It
detrimental,
sure
and a lot of
is.
people
You have to be
don't.
careful. You have to be careful because your intentions are to help. And at the same time to also continue to build your marriage. So we have to examine what it is that the objective is. So her roundtable objective is supposed to be helping a healing process. So like we just discussed, that wasn't when she disclosed the entanglement. That was not a healing. It was a healing moment for her to relinquish it, to let it out. However, it wasn't a healing moment for her viewers. It wasn't a healing moment
I think
for
it was
we.
ego driven. I'm gonna call it what it is, Dr. Lee. It was ego
Okay,
driven.
it was an ego trip.
Yeah, because she wanted y'all to know that she pulled that young boy, her son's friend. She wanted y'all to know that
To me,
she
that's
still
sickening.
pulling.
That's not pulling
It is
a
sickening,
young
but
man. To me is sickening because I could even see myself dating, or my if my daughter was to bring a friend here, and I would see that as my child.
I don't be
It's no
messing
way
with
that
y'all.
I could have
Dr. V,
any
she wanted
sexual
y'all to
desire
know
for a
she
child.
she still got it. She wanted y'all to know she still got it. She pulled this young boy.
No.
That's
You
what she
didn't let
wanted
us know
y'all to know.
nothing but that
She let y'all know. Look,
it's ethical. It's a moral and ethical issue here.
you think she was thinking about the morals when she was entangling with
I'm
that boy?
just saying.
It wasn't not a
So
moral nor ethical.
she's not impressing me by her being with a young man like that. And that's sad
Yeah, but I'm
because
just saying that's to me.
you not
That's
only put your marriage in jeopardy, however, you put that relationship, the friendship between Jaden and August Alsina, because how he looks, my mama sleeping with my friend. I mean, come on, that's embarrassing.
well, I don't
So,
know. I'm just saying it be on site. You know what I
so,
mean?
so
You try and
now
hit my man so
the question that I have for you now: do you think that their marriage is going to last 2 to 3 more years from now?
it is because he's too late. He's in a sunken place now. He's too and she has full throttle control of that relationship. It was
Okay.
evident from that because again, here's where I feel like she feel. He did the act, but she didn't protect him in that moment.
Mhm.
Because if anything else, you've been together 20 some odd years. You're supposed to know how your man is going to react, right? You would think that
Mhm.
after that year, after so many years, you kind of have an idea. You should know pretty confidently what his response is going to be, how he's going to act. Do you agree with that?
Right.
So
Mhm.
that means you knew that he might have said it in the past. If Chris say one more thing about you, I'm gonna get up and slap the shit out of him. Excuse my French. You should have known it. He might have said that in the past. Or she's like, oh, here we go again. You supposed to know how he's gonna react. And so in that
Mhm.
moment, when you make that face or whatever he said to Joe, and the things went into motion, I don't have the camera angled, I don't see it, but you're supposed to call him back, get him to calm down or do whatever, protect him from himself in that moment. Right?
Mhm. Right.
That's what because we know there's some hotheads out there, and there's people who know their husband. They know their husband's gonna go off. They know their spouse is gonna go off.
Mhm.
So they protect them
Mhm.
from themselves because they realize what the bigger picture is. Without, I want him to go off there and slap this man, and something go down, and we lose him, or something else goes down. I got to fight with him, or am I going to protect him from himself, and we'll deal with this later. So
Right.
she failed
Right.
him. She failed him.
Yes, she did. Mhm.
So I've had my
Yeah.
wife, pull me down or calm me down before. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It was in the Silver Fox. Shout out to the Silver Fox on Bankhead back in the day when I was a young boy. But I'm just saying, she calmed me down because she saw my face. She saw I was about to get turned, and she calmed me down.
Mhm.
You see
Right.
what I'm saying? So that's what you want, right? And that what you want,
Right.
that somebody will protect you from this.
Exactly. And when she saw Will step up, she should have grabbed him and set him down because she knew what he was getting ready to do.
Yeah, I called him like Will or babe. You got a name that you
Right.
get his attention. You can get your partner's focus. when you want to.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying? You can get that focus. You've been together
Right.
30 years. How many years they've been together? You get their focus. You know how to
Mhm.
get their attention to bring them to a place, a focus.
Right. Mhm.
You see what I'm saying? So
Exactly. Mhm.
you sitting there
Exactly.
just laughing and chilling like it's all good. It's like, come on
Right.
now.
Exactly. Now, my thought, I don't think the marriage is going to last long. I'm sorry. I don't care how much you feel that he's in a sunken place. I don't think that it's going to last much longer because the pressure is going to be there. And I think that he and her, I don't, as much as I think that the chemistry was there some time ago, I think now they're just together for show. I'm just being honest. um so I just really think that it is totally gonna last maybe about a couple of more years, and I could be wrong, but I'm gonna see that there will be some type of separation there.
I'm just like, he don't been through all this other stuff. I don't see him leaving now. I mean, he's probably, you know, done probably one of the worst things he could do career wise. So it's like, I don't know. I just don't see, there's not going to be another guy that she could control like that or that has the impact like that. I promise you.
And
She's
I don't
painted.
think that she
She's
is
painted.
looking for, I don't think she's looking for control. I'm thinking that she is looking, um, wanting someone to be able to, um, I guess, not just take her stuff, what she's trying to give. You know what I'm trying to say? Or someone that she can
Yeah,
boss or
I
control.
guess.
I'm thinking that she's looking for that freedom of expression. That
Well,
and that's probably why she had that relationship with that young man. She didn't
well,
see
she gonna
age.
be free to
She didn't
express
see
herself
boundaries.
because, as Future said, she for the streets. She for the streets. That's what Future said. She for the streets. She for the streets. So I mean, I don't see nobody, taking on that mantle or trying to deal with that. Like I said, other than somebody who maybe don't know her, know who she is, just happen to run across her. But in Hollywood circles, could be stranger things have happened. But
Right.
it's like, and hopefully she's learned or they learned from this. Y'all don't have to keep doing no red table talk because obviously you're not doing it for the money. You made enough money now, so you don't
Enough
have to
money.
continue to do it. So I don't know who can sit at that damn red table no more. I mean, who going to go to the red table? Who from Hollywood is going to go to the red table with them and
Trust
sit
me, it's
down
a lot of people who wants to go
and
to the red table. You'll find some. They'll find a lot of people who would do that red table
who
now.
though?
Don't get
I
it
don't know.
twisted.
Now you setting yourself up. That's like the Illuminati. Y'all go. That's like a cult. Now I was like, it's just so twisted now. To me, it's
Mhm.
twisted because
Mhm.
again, you consider yourself to be enlightened and gurus and about self love and about this and all that. And to me, it's a fraud now. It's a fraud. All
Mhm.
those shows you did about this and enlightening and growing and doing all this, it's a fraud. Because again, at your biggest moment, you revealed your biggest vulnerability. At your
Mhm.
biggest moment, you reveal
Exactly.
your biggest vulnerability. And
You
now,
revealed your weakness. You sure
yeah,
did.
now everybody knows. Everybody
Mhm.
knows. They might have suspected it, they might have thought about it, but now they know. And
Right.
so, it's like it's just going to be interesting to see how I don't know if you can turn the dynamics of this or you can't make lemons out of
That's what the
lemonade.
PR person is there for. So
Yeah,
let's see
that's
how
what
their
it is.
PR person is going to spin this to work in their favor.
The only
Because
I think the person who holds the key to it is Chris Rock. How his response to it. So if he comes back later and he sits down with them and ask the community or whatever to do a certain thing, if so, I guess if the one that who took the slap is okay or moved on or something like that, or I don't know if moves on is the right word, but if he sits down with them and gives them grace so much so, then I think they can move on from it. But if I don't think they can do it on their own, I don't think that's enough goodwill.
I
Um,
don't think even if Chris Rock was to sit down and have a discussion, Mr. P, that it's not going to go over well.
yeah,
To me, it's a wrap.
yeah. So I don't know. I just think it's a cautionary tale for y'all people who really think y'all those are goals and y'all want um, a long term strengthened relationship. You should not mirror that relationship.
Nope.
That is probably like the worst
That's not
relationship
the
to
one.
mirror.
That's
Yeah,
not the one.
because even though they've been together a long time, it's come at a cost, and they are, these are
Mhm.
supposed to be like the glory years. Y'all done raise your kids. Y'all had both had careers. You're supposed to be
Mhm.
getting ready to, it's supposed to be the easy part. Y'all supposed to be chilling now, doing your little
Mhm.
movie roles, like you said, doing your little red table stuff to help people. But now it's like y'all got more turmoil going on now
Than
than when you had
anything.
the harder part of the relationship. I mean, it's hard when you first get together and start to grow with somebody and get to know somebody. This supposed to be the chilling part.
Right. Because they have made it over the hurdle. What is it? Is it a 5-year itch or the 5 year?
It's
If they say
supposed
if
to be
you
7
marry, if
years,
you can get to
and
5 years,
midlife crisis,
oh,
and
it's 7
you,
years. Okay.
yeah, you got midlife crisis. You got a whole lot of stuff going on. Like I said, you're supposed to be getting ready, get your kids. They settle down, starting their family. Y'all supposed to, next few 5 to 10 years, starting having grandkids, and just chilling. Y'all supposed to be
Mm-hmm.
chilling. Now you dealing with
Exactly.
this. Now you dealing with
Mm-hmm.
this. And then again, I mean, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It, it's just crazy to me. Um, but
Right.
I had to pull up a couple articles. So I think to talk about. So I wanted to kind of talk about protecting your relationship from. I think this is from like damaging distractions. I call it damaging distractions. Or this is what they call it. Social media definitely a damaging distraction. Um, Friends, damaging distractions.
Mm-hmm.
Family can be damaging distractions.
That's right.
And you know what I mean? It's just
Mm-hmm.
I just think you have to be careful um, what you allow into your relationship and what what access that you give people to your relationship. Period.
Exactly.
I think that's at any
Exactly.
level.
That's why you cannot tell your family members what's going on in your relationship. You can't be telling your friends what's going on in your relationship, especially your single friends,
Yeah.
because they don't understand marriage because they're not married. And so you have to be careful with that. And not everybody is for the benefit or for the good of your relationship. Some people want to see your relationship come to a demise, and so you have to be careful who you getting your advice from.
Yeah. I mean,
You
I learned this lesson a long time ago when I was in high school. I was dating a young lady, and I felt like it, and it may or may not have been true at the time, but I just felt like her friends were too concerned with our relationship. They were just too involved with our relationship, um, because again, they telling her things that they think I'm doing or they see me doing, so they reporting back to her about my movements, about doing this and that, and even having the audacity to come up to me and question me about what am I doing, and and so I was like, I ain't gonna be able to do this. I got my let
know.
this go. Because I'm gonna give you one chance and let your friends know, and then I'll cut your friends out too. Because I don't got no
Right,
problems. I'm in a relationship
right.
with you.
Mm-hmm.
What you care,
Mm-hmm.
what you say, what you thought, what you saw is no concern to me. So
Exactly.
you can tell your
Exactly.
friend all you want to, and I'm gonna let you know. Don't come at with
Mm-hmm.
me when your friends talking about. Because again, you see it for yourself, or you come with it yourself and you deal with it. We'll talk about it, or we'll talk about it in a moment. But I'm not dealing with what somebody else is saying or whatever they're doing, because I don't like that. I learned that really quickly, that
Mm-hmm.
if it can't be me, you, and your friends or your family or somebody else in our relationship. I can't operate like that. It's got to be between me and you. I don't care what nobody. I don't care what your mama say. I don't care what your daddy say. I don't care what nobody say. Ain't got nothing. I'm
Right.
not in a relationship with them. So I'm in a relationship with you. So as long as we
Right.
good, we on the same page. I don't care what they think.
Right. And
Yeah.
that's how it has to be. And no outside influences, none. Even while you're dating, that should supposed to be between you and the person you're dating. Even that, limit who you're telling your information to when you're dating. Everyone knows I'm a private person. You
Mhm.
ain't gonna know who I'm dating, who I'm talking to. I just don't disclose that information because it's none of nobody's business, because everybody will have an opinion. Everybody's not wishing you well. So I
Mhm.
like to keep my information of who I'm dating and what I'm doing private. And so I don't want anyone to interfere in none of my relationships, because to me, your information doesn't validate whether I need to be with this person or not.
Nope. Nope.
Yeah.
It doesn't. I
Mm-mm.
mean, it's because I guess the word is is haters, right? Haters, and I don't know if the young
Yeah.
folk change it up, but it's haters, because there are some
Mhm.
people who are, genuinely, even who might be a friend or family for whatever reason, may not just they just may not like the person,
Right.
and so if you give them the space, they're gonna offer or try to talk you out of being in a relationship with a person, or they're gonna sprinkle a little salt in your game
Oh yeah.
of
Oh
the
yeah.
person that you're dealing with. You know what I mean? So it's like
Yeah.
it's easier
Especially
for
if it
me. Yeah.
especially if it's a person from your past who have a disagreement with you, and they're gonna probably try to disencourage the person. Oh, you don't need to talk to that person, you don't need to, they won't be happy. But the thing is, we have to close our ears to the negativity and to the outside, and have a focal point on just you and that person. And and when you do that, you can find a person out for yourself. You don't need all of that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess people are concerned that they don't trust their own decisions and trust that they're making a good decision for themselves. And the whole thing, love is blind. That you just they got your nose wide open. You can't see that they're a bad person. You can't see all that. Well, reality is you probably can't see that stuff. And some of the stuff that you it's not a deal breaker for you. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just
It's
not.
not. Exactly.
For other people, it might be a deal breaker, but it's just not a deal breaker for you, and that's okay. And but nobody
Right.
knows that unless you tell them that. And if you don't give them the space or opportunity to do that, then you don't have to worry about that. Um,
Exactly.
but when you give them the space and opportunity, and you talk about stuff that's not deal breakers, or mention stuff, and it's not a deal breaker for you, so yeah,
Exactly.
they don't
And
drive a
then we
nice house.
all have to learn from our experience, from our life experiences. That's how we get wisdom. And so we have to learn, we have to experience it. I know what the old saying, our parents used to say, a hard head makes a hard head makes a soft behind. But we still have to learn. We still have to go through whatever life phases that we have to go through. And so and that makes us better for that, because then we learn, okay, I can't do this again, here's the relationship. And then so you learn when it presents itself and it's coming the same way. Oh, I recognize this, I can't do that no more. But if
Mhm.
I purely go on what my friend has told me, I could be missing out on a good opportunity. I could be, go into the wrong one because my friend says the right one and mess up. So that's why we keep people out of our relationships, and that's why we have to go through our own life experiences, so that I always, in the Christian world, we say, our trials makes our testimonies.
Mhm.
And so what we go through in life experiences give us the wisdom and the knowledge to know what to do and what not to do in the next relationship.
Yeah. Absolutely. So again, if you don't learn anything from the slap, learn that keep folks out your business, and then you
Exactly.
won't have to slap nobody. You just really won't,
Exactly.
because
I agree with you
you ain't
wholeheartedly.
got to slap nobody, because
You ain't have to slap
to
nobody.
protect a imaginary honor, because they don't
Exactly.
know that was an honor, or because somebody disrespected somebody. You
Right.
won't have to slap nobody because nobody knows. They don't even. They
Mhm.
wouldn't even know that it bothered her. They won't even know that
Exactly.
what she dealing with, or
Right.
what y'all dealing with. You know what I mean? You just don't know, because
Exactly.
again,
Exactly.
you don't owe the world explanation. The world don't
Nope.
owe you knowing everything that's going on with you. So it's keep it to yourself, man. Or
Exactly.
know
Learn
how to.
how to have some hush mouth.
Yeah, or if y'all got it, and there's times you got to rumble. There's times we got to
Mhm.
rumble. But we're gonna be on the same page, and we're gonna catch old boy on the outside. So we can
Mhm.
both get away. Bunny and Clyde.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Bunny didn't just sit back there and send Clyde out there to slap nobody. No, they robbed the bank together. So if both of them didn't rush
Exactly.
him, neither one of them should have rushed him. Now, if they
Mhm.
both of them got out there and they two-pieced him, okay, it was a joint effort.
Right.
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 So y'all people who's trying to justify his actions, I don't know what to say to y'all. I
It's
wish
no
y'all
way to
well.
justify that. It's no way
Try
to
that if
justify.
y'all want to. Y'all ain't gonna come across a Chris Rock all the time. So I'm just
No.
saying, try that if y'all want
Yeah.
to.
Don't do that. Please, nobody do that. Because these people out here in these streets, they're not fighting with fists. They fighting with guns.
Yeah, and it's gonna cost you more in the long run.
Mhm.
I'm not finna slap somebody that costs me money. It costs me money.
Exactly. Exactly.
I got one over there and
Exactly.
punch you, man. It costs me money because now I got to get a lawyer. I got to get bail money. I got to do all. It
You
costs me
sure
money.
do. You sure do. And Will ain't heard the last now because you got to think about there's gonna be some endorsements he's gonna lose. It's
Well,
getting ready to
I
cost him.
heard
Don't think
that.
it's not gonna cost him.
Yeah, I heard that Disney's kind of backed away. There was a project he's
Hmm.
supposed to be doing with Disney, and then I think Netflix
Yeah,
something.
Netflix has
uh,
him on hold, so it's
yeah,
getting ready to cost him.
yeah. So, and it's unfortunate, but again, either repercussions. That's why I'm saying, for y'all people who saying Chris Rock deserved a slap. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't, but he didn't get deserved a slap then,
No,
or
right then.
he didn't have
Could
to
have been
get
behind
slapped.
closed doors. It could have
Yeah,
been
there
after
was
the
yeah,
academy. It could have been, it's so many opportunities that Will could have decided um to to handle this issue, to take
yeah,
up for his wife. That wasn't the time nor the place. It was inappropriate. And shout out to Will Packard for everyone who took part in organizing it. The Oscars was phenomenal, regardless of what happened. Shout out to everyone who won an Oscar. You know, I have we as viewers and our commentary, we have to rise above it and still give a shout out to a phenomenal performance and Oscars and to the Oscars.
yeah. Um, I'm like Chris Rock. I'm still processing it. I'm still processing it. I might have to give me a ticket when he finished processing it. That's gonna be a great special. Um,
Oh
I mean, I just like I said, y'all. I wish it's a hard. Couple weeks we probably ain't gonna be talking about it. It's a news cycle.
and it's sad that we're still talking about it now, and it's been a
Yeah,
week.
it is. It's been a week, but again, like I said, for me, it triggered some things, and I came across that paper that I read. But I mean,
Okay.
it's, I hopefully we all learn from this. Hopefully we all become better people from this,
Hmm.
and we can learn from others' mistakes. That's the
Exactly.
beauty of it. You ain't got to slap nobody to learn from somebody
No, you
else's
don't.
mistakes.
Nope.
Um, yes, best of luck, Dr. V. I'm gonna see what happens when Jada slaps somebody and see what happens.
No, she better choose wisely.
Choose wisely because they gonna swing on her. They
They
swinging on
gonna
Jada.
swing. She better choose wisely.
And you know they got a slap game now for Chris Rock. They got a game. Somebody created a game. I mean, it's the internet is undefeated. They're gonna go back and find everything. So again, if you're gonna do it in private. Because you do it in public, it's a wrap.
It's a wrap. It's a wrap all day long.
I mean,
Yeah.
well.
Oh well.
I know. All right. Best of luck to Will and Jada and their relationship. You want to take?
Yeah.
Okay, let's notate this. You said I think they could be together. You said 2 to 3
No,
years.
I said about 2 to 3 years. No.
2 to 3 years. Dr. V said on April 3rd, 2022. So that means April 3rd, 2025. We're gonna check in and see if Will and Jada is still together. That'll be 3 years from now. I say they'll still be together. I don't know what they're gonna be doing.
I doubt it.
You doubt it?
I doubt it.
Maybe they're gonna buy them little island and go retire on that island and do something like that.
Doubt it.
Right.
Doubt it.
2 to 3 years. Okay. Well, Dr. V, I'm glad to be doing this with you as always.
And same here, Mr. P.
We got to together. I mean, like
what we want to make sure that on YouTube, we need to make sure that you are clicking subscribe, you are clicking like, and you are sharing. Please click subscribe, please click like, and please share.
Before we slap y'all.
Well, no, I ain't slapping nobody.
Let me see, do I got a slap? Let me see, do I need a slap one? I'm gonna give me a slap one. I gotta find me a slap. I think I got a slap. Do I got a slap? No, I don't see.
Don't you start slapping nobody.
No, I ain't got it. I think I do got a slap, Dr. V. Let me see. Nope, that ain't no slap. That ain't no slap.
What?
Let me see. That sound like slap. How about this? Oh yeah.
That's a slap.
That's right. You come over here. Come over here if you want to. Dr. V and Mr. P ain't with it. We ain't with it.
That is funny. That's funny, boy. You crazy.
You turn the other cheek. You gonna turn the other cheek?
Turn the other cheek. Turn the other cheek. Yes.
I ain't doing it. All right. Well, see you next time. Thank you for listening and watching, and then we'll see y'all on the flip side of the slap.
All right. And we love you from Straight Talk with Dr. V and Mr. P. Bye.
Bye-bye.